The DNA of the truck that's probably in your driveway right now, it might just trace all the way back to this very moment. Today, we're going to go back to 1955 and deconstruct an absolute icon, the GMC Blue Chip. This was a truck that really changed everything, so let's get into it.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're in post-World War II America, and the whole country is just buzzing with this incredible sense of optimism. And this wasn't just about the economy, it was a total design explosion. And cars? Well, cars were right at the heart of it.
So picture it. The war is a decade in the rearview mirror. The economy is absolutely booming, brand new highways are stretching out across the country, and the suburbs are just exploding.
People were tired of the old pre-war designs that had been lingering on dealership lots for years. They wanted flash, they wanted style, and man, they wanted power. And you better believe General Motors was more than ready to deliver.
Now this was a massive deal. For a brand like GMC, which was known for these kinda no-nonsense utilitarian trucks, the Blue Chip line was its second major post-war redesign, and it was a radical leap forward, both in style and in engineering.
So what exactly made this truck so special? Well, a whole lot of it came down to this revolutionary new look that completely changed what people even thought a pickup truck could be. This right here is where GMC really carved out its own identity. Yeah, it shared a cab with its Chevy cousin, but the front end, that was pure bravado. Just look at this aggressive double-arch grille and those big bomb-style bumper guards. Even the branding got the whole jet-age treatment, with a jet air scoop on the hood and a jet stream vent for the cabin. It was all about projecting power and modernity.
And this whole design philosophy, it actually had a name, Speedline. And you can totally see why, right? Everything seems to be leaning forward. The headlights, the windshield pillar, it gives the truck this sense of motion, even when it's just standing still. This was a huge departure from the boxy, purely functional trucks of the past.
And that revolution, it continued on the inside. I mean, for the first time, a work truck was actually designed with driver comfort in mind. The seat was padded and adjustable, that amazing panoramic wraparound windshield was standard on every single model, and the dashboard, with its Aero View round gauges, felt like it was pulled straight from a passenger car. It was sending a clear signal. Trucks weren't just for the farm anymore.
But the biggest change wasn't just on the outside. The real revolution was happening under the hood.
This, right here, was the game changer. Sure, the standard engine was a trusty inline-six, but 1955 was the very first time you could get a powerful V8 in any GMC truck. And this wasn't just about going faster. It meant more hauling capacity for work, it meant easier cruising on that brand new interstate highway system, and it kicked off this huge cultural shift of the pickup truck as a powerful personal vehicle.
It's a question worth asking. We throw these terms around all the time. V8, inline-six, but what does that cylinder arrangement actually mean for how an engine works? Let's break it down. Okay, so the difference is all in the layout. Over on the left, you've got the inline engine, with all its cylinders lined up in one single straight row. Simple enough. But on the right, that's the V-type. The cylinders are split into two banks, angled away from each other, forming that classic V shape.
And here's why that matters so much. By splitting the cylinders into a V, engineers could fit more of them, in this case 8, into a much shorter, more compact engine block. This compactness gives designers way more flexibility, and often allows for a larger displacement, which, as you know, is a key ingredient for more power. So yeah, the V8 was the headliner, no doubt. But it wasn't the only piece of smart engineering in the Blue Chip line. Let's kind of peel back the skin and look at the foundational tech of this truck.
The chassis is basically the skeleton of the vehicle, and for 1955, it got a complete overhaul. It was made stronger, obviously, to handle all that new power, but it also featured a wider track, which just means the wheels were set further apart, and that gave the truck much better stability and handling.
To really get what the 1955 truck's frame was all about, let's first look at what it's not. What you're seeing here is a modern unibody where the frame and the body are all one integrated piece. The classic Blue Chip? Totally different. It used a separate, heavy-duty steel ladder frame, and everything, the engine, the suspension, the cab, was bolted directly onto it. That's old-school, tough-as-nails truck construction.
All right, so all that new power and style is great, but how did you stop the thing? Well, in 1955, the answer was drum brakes. This was the go-to technology for decades.
This diagram really lays it all out. So follow the action from the brake pedal. When you press it, hydraulic fluid creates pressure that pushes these two curved brake shoes outward. See them? They press against the inside of this rotating drum, which is attached to the wheel. That friction is what slows the truck down.
It's a simple, super effective system that was the workhorse of the auto industry for years and years.
Okay, so you've got a revolutionary design, a powerful new engine option, and some really solid engineering. So what was the result of all this? Let's take a look at the legacy these innovations left behind.
America absolutely loved it. This blend of car-like style and truck-like toughness was just a massive success. GMC had a record-breaking year, which proved that their big gamble on this bold new direction paid off. Big time.
But amidst all that success, there was one model that became an instant legend, mostly because of how rare it was. See, GMC produced this special, high-style version with these smooth, fiberglass side panels. And the total number they made in 1955? Just 300.
This super rare model was called the Suburban Pickup. It was basically GMC's answer to Chevrolet's stylish Cameo Carrier. But what's really interesting is that the GMC version, with its Pontiac-sourced V8, actually had a little bit more horsepower than its Chevy sibling. And all that style and exclusivity, it would have cost you just under $2,000 back in 1955.
So let's just put it all together with the specs for the standard half-ton model. You can see that big 30 horsepower jump from the standard inline 6 to the optional V8. And hey, look at the transmission. You could even get a 4-speed automatic. That was a true luxury for a pickup truck back then.
And really, that brings us to the final thought. A V8 engine, a separate chassis for heavy-duty trucks, hydraulic brakes. These weren't just new ideas in 1955. They were foundational concepts that, in their evolved forms, are still very much with us. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, when you look at a modern car, how much of its DNA can be traced all the way back to a classic like the Blue Chip?